I'm Rebecca.
And I'm Hunter, and this is
the Family Showdown!
Howdy folks, welcome back to my top 100 games of all time. I'm Hunter, and with me today is the lovely superstar, megastar of Family Showdown, Rebecca.
Oh my, what an intro.
Today, we're looking at my 60 to 51, also known as the worst of the best.
Let's go.
It's the worst
Of the best.
No, it's the best of the worst. I just said that wrong. Edit that out. Just kidding. All right, 60 to 51, the best of the worst. The worst of the best is the next
It's going to be the next 10, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, you got ahead of yourself there.
Let's take a sneak peek.
Oh, I like that fan.
A sneak peek. Let's see. This 10, we got one new game. One new game.
That's it?
This one.
Shocking.
3 games that went down. 6 games that went up.
Let's go.
What?
Underdogs.
That never happens.
Well, apparently it does.
Wow. Crazy, crazy. Let's start it off right away. Right away. My number 60.
All business.
It's one of the ones that went up because...
Reasons?
The reason being, if you harken back to my intro video...
Ooh, I like to harken.
Games that I want to play are going up the list.
Ooh.
And this is one I really want to play because it has these things called Chronicles.
Narnia?
Which is little modules that you can add to the game, mix and match and add. We've done a good chunk of them, but we haven't done all the Chronicles.
We haven't done all of them?
In Glenmore 2.
Yes! I want to play this again so bad.
Glenmore
Yes.
2.
This is on my list too.
Yep. Well, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it is.
Chronicles. Glenmore 2
58.
Chronicles.
Very similar to you.
So like I said, this one has like 8 little modules. And they come in little boxes. They have like little tokens and bits and things that let you upgrade your game. And we've gone through some of them and we're marking which ones we like and don't like as we go. But the game itself is a rondel. That's like the whole thing of the game is a rondel. So you're going around this little circle, going around a little circle and you're picking tiles to go in your little tableau. You're building like a village, a place, a thing. What are you building? You're building your clan's little village or something. But what's cool though is that when you place a tile, you activate that tile and then you get to activate stuff around it as long as there's little dudes hanging out there. And you get like super activation. And if you're really cool, you put that tile right in the middle of 8 other tiles and the world explodes. Just kidding.
I don't even know what this game's about anymore.
So let's read. Each player leads their clan from the early medieval ages. No. Anyway.
I thought it was all in German, and I was like, how did you...
It's a tile placement game where you're moving your little workers around to kind of make a tile where it's activatable. If that makes sense. We played a few of the expansions. One was like a boat race, and there's all kinds of fun little modules that you can play. It's a good one. It's like Rondell tile placement. If you like those games where you have things fire off adjacent to each other, that sort of thing going on.
I love that.
This might be the game for you. And it is the game for me because it is my number 60, Glenmore 2.
It was my 58.
Oh, look at that!
I know.
You average those together?
Like
59.
I don't even know what... Anyway, yeah, that's right. Woo!
Let's move on to my number 59. Speaking of 59, let's move on to my number 59.
It's not Glenmore 2 Chronicles.
No, but this one is plummeting. It was like doing a slow fall, and then it just fell off the cliff.
It's free fall.
So way back in the Wayback Times of 2017, it was 6. The next year was 12. Then it was 18. And then it was 20. And then it was 24. It's got this nice little trend line going.
Yeah. And then you just went like...
Whoosh!
Dang.
59.
Why do you hate this game
25 places. Because 2 reasons. Here's the reasons. One reason is I don't think you like it. Your love of this game is waning, and therefore my love of your love of the game is waning. But the main reason is there's a new Argentina, I believe, version of this game, and I'm itching to play.
Okay.
So it's kind of like taking a back seat, I guess, because I really want to play the new version of Great Western Trail.
Now listen, I will like to make a point of clarification. I adore this game. I am not crazy about the expansion that you love so much.
But trains.
I don't like all the.
What is it on your list? It's probably not in your top 100. I bet it's not.
Yeah, because it detracts from the main game.
It's probably not in your top 100.
Yeah, well,
anyway, Great Western Trail.
This
This is the original version. There's a shiny new version of Great Western Trail. Not shiny new. It's been a couple of years, but
it's my 71, sucker. I like this game.
I stand corrected.
Yes.
What was it the year before?
I don't know. Do I have that on here? I don't have it on here. I don't know. No clue. This is just my year list.
No.
Oh, I'm fine. Let me look.
What was it the year before?
Year before, 45.
Ah, see? It's dropping. Dropping for her, dropping for me, dropping off the table.
My tastes in games go, woo! Yours don't.
Great Western Trail. We played this one a ton, too. We played this one
we have played it
a lot.
A lot.
So it's kind of waning. It's kind of getting some dropsies. And I really want to try the new versions. There's like a new...
And Argentina,
really and there's cool. Like a New Zealand. Is there a New Zealand?
What? Oh, yeah, I did hear about that.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm interested in those. So this
do they use helicopters like
my interest in this is waning. My interest in the other versions is growing. So, Great Western Trail is you're moving along a trail, and you're going to different buildings. You're activating those buildings. You're basically taking your hand of cards. You're trying to maximize it. It's a hand of crappy cows, and you're trying to get a hand of really cool cows. You get to the end of the trail, you sell your cows for buku bucks, and then you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again until the game ends.
I feel so bad for those cows. You call them crappy cows.
They are crappy cows. You got like all these 1-point crappy cows. You want the 2- and 3-point cows. Those are the cool cows. Cool cows. My number 59, dropping a quarter of a century. No more than that. 35. That's like more than a third of a century.
Don't do it.
Great Western Trail. Okay. All right. Let's move on to my number 58. So the one new game. I mentioned there was a new game. We have arrived at the new game. That is the new game that Rebecca loves. I think it's going to be much higher. Is much higher on her list, I think. And that is Gutenberg.
Yes. Did I have that on my...
Maybe if I can get it off the thing.
Oh yeah, that was my 13.
Yeah.
This one went, woo!
Gutenberg. Back of the box doesn't match the front.
Does not matter to me.
Gutenberg. So this is a good one. We played this fairly recently. We got our copy fairly recently, like middle of last year maybe. Mm-hmm. And we played it, and she loved it, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. So Gutenberg is a
printer. Oh, you mean the board game?
Who invited her? Gutenberg, the board game, is a action selection game. It has a cool little gimmick. I love games with gimmicks. It's got a gimmick. So you have all these action selection little cubies. So I may have like 7 little cubies, and maybe she has 8 little cubies. And you're going to have a choice of 6 actions, I want to say.
Something like that.
5 or 6. I think it's 6. Actions, you have to allocate your little cubes on those actions. So you could put 1 cube on each, and maybe 1 or 2 on a couple. Or you can say, I really got to get me some ink. Like that ink out there is the one I want. I got to get it. Maybe I'll put 3 or 4 cubes on there. So you get to prioritize your actions by how many cubes you put on that. Sure. And tie goes to the active player. Whoever's the current active player gets the tiebreaker. So that's powerful. But they get less cubes, so it's kind of a balance.
It's interesting, yeah.
So it's a contract fulfillment. You need certain letters. Little typeset letters, you need certain colors of ink, you need all sorts of fun. It has little geary things that give you superpowers that rotate every round, which is kind of cool.
Love those.
Lots going on. This is a really cool little game. It has something 11 games. In fact, another game that we're going to talk about very shortly is one of my first experiences with this, where the actions fire off from top to bottom down the little board, and it helps you with the flow of the game. It helps you prioritize what you want to do. It's a good one.
That was actually what I was going to mention. It's got one of my favorite things. That's one of my favorite types of boards and board games is the ones that are very easy to understand. And once you learn the rules, like, you almost don't need to read the rules again because the board helps you, like, align how the turn should go.
Yeah.
It's so nice. It makes a smooth flow. I like our personal boards, too, and how you ramp up and you can specialize those gears. And if you don't like them, you can just switch them out. and get a different one the next round.
Right.
And they give you the coolest perks and just
discounts on things. You can buy victory points.
Yeah,
you get to
like,
take certain actions.
there's just a lot of variety in this game, and it feels like there's a lot of good choices and backup plans and stuff. So it's not like you're ever really completely out of anything. Plays fantastic 2-player.
It is a good one. It jumped up way up my list. It's not super my style necessarily, but I do enjoy it.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. I mean, that says something when it's on both of our lists.
58. Gutenberg.
Let's go.
Let's move on to one of the ones that went up. If you recall, 6 games went up. This is one of them.
Okay.
Glenmore 2 was another one, so that's the second one that went up.
Okay.
It went from 68, which was new last time, to 57. 68 to 57.
That's a good sign.
Because the Felds are taking a hit, but the T games are taking a jump.
Yeah, and with
And
more plays, that seems to reinforce you.
Tabanusi, the Builders of
That is a fun one. That's a fun
Builders of So we played this one at
a convention.
That was a convention. Was it Dice Tower Retreat? East? East? Retreat. East. No, Retreat.
You're gonna be like that old dude. Was it 57?
No, it was the Dice Tower
73?
Retreat. Because we made a little pact one of the mornings of the retreat. This is like 2 years ago. 2 years ago retreat, 2021 Dice Tower Retreat.
Did we go?
2021, not 22.
Oh yeah, the end of the year. Yeah. I was like,
Dice Tower Retreat. Yeah. We made a pact. We were playing all these light little zippy games with everybody. And we said we're gonna play a meaty one.
Yep. We're gonna play a heavy game.
Play a meaty one. And this is the meaty one we played, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. It's got that. What I like, most of the T games that I enjoy a lot have that where there's regions of the board that do different things. Like you go over here to do this, and you go over here to do that, and they interact with each other. So maybe you want to go to region 1 to get something that's going to help you with region 3 to go over here to region 4. A lot of games have that. Takeno has that. This Tabanusi has that. Some other games we're going to talk about a little later in my list have that as well. This one has a really cool mechanism where you're using a die. You're playing a die on a spot. It tells you what color resource you get. It also tells you where you're going to go for the next round. So basically, you're picking an action, and it's going to point to where you're going to go for the next round. So you're bouncing around doing different things. You're building buildings. You're putting tiles down. You're trying to play off other people's buildings. You can even complete other people's buildings that are partially built. You can opt into achievements victory point achievements. You can do all sorts of things. It's a T game. There's all these crazy things going on.
That's true.
But that dice manipulation, that choosing, you basically have to, when you take an action, you're basically picking what you're going to be doing for the next action. So it's doubly important, that choice, because you're picking almost 2 actions with 1 action, which is kind of interesting. It's a good one. It is a good game. I like everything about it. It's a good one. What are you thinking?
It's funny because I really liked Takenu over that, but with the last play of this, I'm like, I don't know. I like the way it does the regions a little better, I think. But
this one's a little more independent. Takenu is even more. It's even more important what the regions interacting with each other.
They're very interrelated.
Less so. This one is less so that way.
That might be.
Takenu really has that. You go here
really
to get these, to go over here to do that. To go.
Yeah.
This has that to a point, but it's not.
I don't feel like it's that heavily meshed with each other, like the regions and stuff. I don't know. We need to have a tea day. I really feel like we need to have a.
We'll have some tea and have a tea day.
High tea day.
Tabanusi. This is another thing that I like about most of the tea games for us anyway. 2 players. They're not as long as you would think. They're hour and a half.
Half an hour.
An hour to an hour and a half long for us, which is the sweet spot for our game.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is a meaty, crunchy, heavy game that you can play in a fairly short amount of time. So if you like the tea games, you haven't tried Tabanusi, you get to say Builders of
Is that the incentive?
That's the incentive right there.
Or you could just say
My number 57, it's up from 68. Tabanusi.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on to my 56. It was 47. It's a little bit of a dropsy, but not much, just because we haven't played it in a while. It's been a little bit of a while since we played it. But back in the way back time, Gutenberg, I explained the board firing off from top to bottom.
Yeah.
In Gutenberg, it's not as important because you're not really using stuff at the top to do things at the bottom for the most part. This one very much builds on the levels. You use things at the top to do the things that as you go down, you need things to do other things.
Uses that?
And that is Age of Empires.
I was thinking of that one. Okay.
Age of Empires 3, Age of Discovery. It's now called Empires Age of Discovery.
What?
Because the
Video
license. You look on the side of the box, somewhere on the box it says Microsoft all over it. Where does it say Microsoft?
Also Microsoft. I see Tropical Games.
Maybe I'm crazy.
You are crazy.
I was so sure it had Microsoft or something on it. Maybe it's in the rule book. Anyway, regardless, they did lost the license for the Age of Empires, so they changed the name and fancied it up a little bit. We got the beat up old Tom Vassell special. Does it even have the...
It's been loved.
Yeah, it's been beat.
No, this was in his collection. Like
yeah,
it was before he put it in like a set or whatever way to play.
Go watch his old reviews of this, and he bangs this board around, sticks it under an arm, slams it around. It's been loved.
It's in the background under a stack of like 20 games.
Yes, if you look at the background from his videos from 10 years ago,
it's been loved.
It's got a depression of a smaller game sitting on top of it. Anyway, Age of Empires is a area control set collection. But what really attracted me to this game and why I enjoy it is the specialized workers. Because you have these generic worker guys that can just do a basic action. But if you get specialized workers and you go to the right spot, they're more powerful. They count basically as potentially two workers. You have like regular guys, you have soldiers, you have captains, you got merchants, you got priests, you got all sorts of fun stuff.
Let me try the white one.
So this one, but it has the board. It's a worker placement, so you put your workers anywhere you want, but they're going to fire off in sequence down the board, and it could potentially be. And also, a lot of those worker placement spots have multiple spots, and let's say like one of them is collecting tiles for your set collection. The person who puts the worker there first is going to get first choice, then second choice, third choice, etc. So if there's a tile you really want, you might want to go there first. But if you have a few that you might want out of that set, you might not go there. You might prioritize some other spot. It's got special powers that you can opt into, but it costs a lot of money.
I was hoping you'd mention those because they're really cool.
So basically, you almost have to budget to get enough money to be able to opt into those powers. And you only get one opportunity each turn, each big round, to go and buy those superpowers, and they're very powerful. They give you that's how you get your specialty workers for the most part. How you get victory points at the end of the game for doing certain things. All sorts of fun stuff. It's great. It's a great game.
I also like the superpower things are really fun to get, but I also like the way you do the set collection with the resources.
Right.
Because you can find them. You have a chance to buy some every round, but you can also go and explore the new world and find them there too.
Yeah, if you're the first person to get there.
Yeah, and so like there's a couple different ways you can get them, and then you use the little chocolate ships as bonuses to like get these set collections and get some mad points. I like to sneak up. People watch me now, but I used to sneak those in when people are too busy trying to explore and stuff. I'm like, oh, I'll just get a resource. I'm good.
So
build my empire.
This sounds like a generic Euro game, but it's not.
No,
so it's got area control. It's got combat, it's got fighting. It's a lesser part of the game, but you can make it a major part of the game. If you go all in with troops and you're going over the area, you can go over and have wars, you can have battles and all sorts of fun stuff. Because the area control is where you get a lot of your points, because there's scorings that happen, and based on what area, who controls what area gets different points. So,
Truth.
It is a good one.
I love that game.
It dropped a little bit just because we haven't played in a while. Let's move on. Flip the page, as they say, to my number 55. You remember the way back time of my number 61, which wasn't that far way back, but it was the previous video. This is the new shiny new version of Brass that everyone loves, and it's a tippy top, not the very top, but really close to the top of the Board Game Geek Top 100. And that is Brass Birmingham. Yeah, so you have to say Birmingham. Anyway, Brass Birmingham is very much like Brass, but they kind of streamlined some parts, and they added in a new resource that you have to work with. Before it was just coal and iron that you're dealing with.
Yeah.
They added in beer, because Birmingham has beer, I guess. I don't know. But there's beer in this game. It's another resource. that you utilize. It's the same sort of thing. You could snipe it from other people who have it available. You just use it to do certain things in the game, pick up delivers type situation. It's a good one. It's really good. I enjoy this one better, but there's so much alike, so they end up very similar parts of the list. I like this one a little more, so it's a little higher. I probably would only pull out brass, to be honest, if someone was just not wanting to jump in to this game. But if you can handle brass, you probably can handle brass Birmingham.
Yeah, it's not that much extra.
It's not
really.
that
No,
much more complicated. But it could be a small stepping stone.
A little more aggressive.
Brass
the beer's a little more aggressive. Like I tend to like Lancashire a little bit better because it is slightly less aggressive. Because the beer really, you can block some people pretty aggressively with it. I don't know. That's just me though. But this
is beer.
It wasn't it hooray beer.
Yeah,
I think that's what they said. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, this is like right up your alley. This is like because it's got the train transportation thing, making efficiency like.
But that's what the caveat. This one now carries the same caveat as brass does. After you have to interview you before we play. Excuse me. How many times have you played brass Birmingham?
Oh dear.
If you say more than 10 and you got that twinkle in your eye, like I'm going to eat you alive at this game. We'll probably play something else, like a party game or something. Because this is a game that can be mean. It can be brutal in peak parts. But I don't tend to play that way. That's just not how I play.
No.
I enjoy these heavy games that have the potential to be mean, but I very rarely utilize that.
No, you just like to every once in a while go snipe.
Yeah.
When no one's expecting it, and then you're like,
I take my big club and I just kind of poke you a little bit with it. I don't bash you over the head.
Or wait till your back's turned and then he goes stab. That may have happened a few times to me.
So just like
I recovered.
Just like brass, Lancashire, it's a card play game. You use the cards to build buildings. You have to pull resources from various places to be able to build those buildings. It just only really different. The only major difference is there's an additional resource in this game.
Most boring bits ever. We need to like make this game cooler. Don't you have some?
That's obviously coal and iron and beer.
Yeah. Clearly,
you can't see it, but
it's cubes.
It's orange cubes, black cubes, and little
generic wooden barrel-esque.
No, they look like barrels.
They're barrel shaped. They're plain wood.
They actually look like the barrels. Actually look like the top of a gavel with the handle.
They really
off.
do. They really do.
They look like the top of a gavel. Anyway,
like you don't get this game.
We don't play brass Birmingham for the aesthetics.
That much is.
We play it for the challenge of your brain, or something. I don't know. There's my 61. It went up slightly to 55 just because it's living in this part of the list. This is where it lives right now. It lives in the 50s, and Lancashire lives in the 60s. It's just the way it works.
Hippies.
All right, let's move on to one that went up because we played this really recently. It jumped up it was my 54, right? It jumped up from 76 because we played a shiny new board. A friend, the infamous Paul, gifted us with some boards. We played the new map that's specifically designed for 2 players. I can't recall what the name of the map is. England? I don't know.
Angleterre. No.
The new map is specifically designed for 2 players.
Was it in
Concordia? Oh, it's so heavy now with all the boards in it.
It really is.
Concordia. We put it in the salsa, the expansion boxes. We tend to do that because we're weird. We keep the expansion box, not the base game box.
A lot of them are cooler.
Yeah.
Just saying.
It's this guy selling us salt. There's many stories
this is just hilarious.
No more story. Nope.
Every time.
But I am going to look up the board we played, see if I can find it. Hold on. Hold the phone.
Phone's held.
Hold the phone. Britannia.
Was it Britannia?
It was Britannia.
I was going to ask you if it was in Latin.
Oh, I don't speak the German, though. That's German.
Why did you keep that?
I don't know.
I guess I need to pick up German. This is...
No, it's in both, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay.
English is on the other page. Anyway, it's Britannia, I believe, is the one that's for 2 players.
Has some pretty board
and the Germania is for 5 players. So it gives you the extremes. The extremes player counts. Because it plays 2 to 5. Concordia does. So Concordia is trading in the Mediterranean. You're driving around on your little boat or walking on your little feet, building trading posts. getting tons of resources to build more trading posts, and you're all the while acquiring cards. It's a bit of a deck builder. What have I done? It's a bit of a deck builder to a lesser degree. It's kind of like you played Spice Road. It's one of those where you play the cards and then you eventually play a card to bring your cards back. And as time goes by, you're adding more powerful versions of cards to that hand, just like Spice Road if you played Spice Road. Yeah, it's a bit of a deck builder. Very mild deck building. But the thing is, the majority of your scoring comes from those cards. So there's different types of cards that give you different scorings for different things. So you may take a card that helps you with something that you're doing in the game, but the scoring may not be important to you. And vice versa, you may take cards that you don't necessarily need during the game to help you with your in-game scoring. So usually they're synergized. The action it lets you do synergizes a little bit with the in-game scoring, but not necessarily. So you get the number of cards that you have of a certain type is how many multiplies your scoring. So maybe you get points for building trading posts that make silk, and if you have 4 of those, you're gonna get 4 times as many points. So it's multi-use cards, but not multi-use during the game. It's multi-use in the sense of during the game and in-game scoring.
Yeah, it's really cool. Love that game.
It's a good
so
one.
So much.
The game's gone. Anyway,
the
Concordia is it's a perennial favorite for a lot of people. It's pretty fairly high up on the top 100 if I recall correctly. It's just a really good, solid Euro game with little bits of different things, set collection in terms of the scoring, trading, resource management, moving around on the map.
Pretty. It's pretty. It's just a fun combination of things. And
pretty.
It is. It's a pretty board. The pieces are pretty. The tiles.
Is it?
Yes, they have kind of like semi-mosaic style to them. I don't know. I like it.
Well, the game's gone, so now
I like
they've already forgot what game it is.
Oh my gosh, they did not.
My number 54, Concordia, with the new Britannia map. Britannia? Anyway, let's move on. My 53, this one rocketed up the list from 92 up to 53 because we played this one again. We played the big giant, what's it called? Grand Bazaar version.
Is this what I think it is?
Of Istanbul.
Yo, let's go.
Istanbul. This one, I just forgot how good this game is. I just enjoyed this game.
It's so good.
It's got so many paths to victory that every game you're doing a little bit different. I try to do gambling every game, but anyway, it's a race to get a certain number of gems. You can acquire gems many different ways by upgrading your little wagon. You can buy them from the merchant. You can deliver messages. You can do all sorts. Well, this is with the expansions, all kinds of different ways. And if you play the original game or even the Grand Bazaar, it's a grid of basically worker placement spots that you can go to, and you have your little guy and he's leaving a little trail of breadcrumbs to go to where he is. So he's kind of chained to that spot until he picks up his breadcrumbs and goes somewhere different direction. Yeah. So it's kind of managing what you can do in the general area you're at and getting combos there. And when you need to go to a different part of the board, work your way over there and maybe accomplish things as you go to that direction. The Grand Bazaar is obviously more tiles. It's a much bigger board, so there's even more of that. Oh my gosh, that's way over there. What can I accomplish on my way to get to that spot, right? These
are the different tiles that you put in. They have like some recommendations, but you can also randomize and do a bunch of different things.
There's just some rules on placement. You don't want like a place that gives you money right next to a place where you buy the gems and things like that. You don't want people going back and forth to the same spot.
A lot of tiles.
Well, they have some expansions.
Which is so cool.
But it's a good one. It's a good one if you like. It's very Euro. It's very puzzly. It's very... I
was going to say, this has everything you have because you like to do all the movement and variety of play, and then you've got your contracts that you always love. Like, it's got so much... We really liked the expansion that was coffee and...
Bangladesh.
That's not...
Bakish or something like that?
Bakish? Oh, hashish. Hashish?
No.
No, not hashish. No, it is something like that.
It's Bakesh.
No, it's got a weird name.
Oh my gosh. Baklava.
You get struck by lightning. I don't remember the name of it.
You just pull out the rule books.
He says, because they're at the very bottom.
It is letters and seals and...
Coffee and kebabs? No, coffee and...
Mocha and...
Oh,
Bashish.
Bakshish. Actually, it was close.
Like I said, I was right.
I was close.
Anyway,
the comments are going to be way
too far
now.
in the weeds
You're
about
all welcome.
Istanbul. So it was hanging around in this.
Slightly different than what I was saying.
We're gonna get demonetized.
Oh my god.
So 53 Istanbul. It was 92 last time, but before that was 59. So it's back where it was before. I'm not sure why it had dropsies. Probably because we hadn't played it in a while.
We hadn't played it in a while. That's why.
Probably.
And then we got a really good play in it. It's just fun. I really like because every game is so completely different when we play that. Because even
especially when you're using those weird expansions.
Yes, exactly. Listen.
All right, let's move on to my 52.
This is why we can't have nice
52 is 49 last time, so I just dropped a little bit. This is where it lives.
Okay.
A lot of these games are living in this general area.
Okay.
And this is a super mean game. I'm finding that originally in my mind, I loved all the games from this publisher. I'm coming to find I don't love them all. I do love this one.
Okay.
And that is Food Chain Magnate.
Okay.
That's
funny.
So I've actually enjoyed all the ones I played except for one. So, but I love this one. This one's a fun one. This is a
fun one.
This is what's it called with your company? The corporate hierarchy of the board game. So in this game, you're running a restaurant. You're hiring employees. You're hiring pizza guys and delivery guys and managers and all sorts of different levels. And you actually have a corporate structure. So you're at the top. You can have so many managers under those. Each of those managers can manage so many people, and so forth and so on until down to the pizza makers and the delivery guys and all that sort of stuff.
This is the chain of command.
No, that's upgrading that's the upgrade lines.
Oh yeah, that is the upgrade lines. There's a chain of command here somewhere, but
no, just managers report to people, report to managers, manager reports to vice
all
president.
the fun little bits. These are the upgraded bits, I believe.
They are. Those are the ones you got me.
Yeah.
Normally they're just like tokens.
Yeah, they're kind of boring, but
I think I threw them away.
You probably did because they're pretty ugly.
Anyway, Food Chain Magnate, you're running a restaurant. You're going out. You're advertising. You're setting. I don't know what she's doing over there. She's talking about weird expansions and banging boards around. And
I was trying to find some more cool bits, but then I remembered that
it's like you're setting up a display to sell some stuff.
I like to show everybody the board games, but unfortunately, this is not what some people would call a looker.
None of the splotters are.
But this is
like
as
you're
close
digging through a splotter game to look for something to show.
I knew we had the cool bits.
Those aren't part of the game.
Well, they are.
No, they're not.
They're just part of it if you buy extra stuff. This is cool. I like the menu. I like this so much. The board, however, what is this garbage? This makes
very utilitarian board.
This makes 18XX look exciting, people. What are we talking about here? Now I can put the game up.
So, back to what I was saying. Food Chain Magnate, it's a super heavy splatter game. If you ever played any splatter games, you know it's one of those games that
comes in a shirt box.
It's one of those games that is this Interruptus?
Yes.
Interruptus Maximus?
Yes.
You're gonna interrupt me again?
No.
Force field apparently doesn't block sound. I need a sound shield. You go on Amazon and buy one of those. Anyway. What was I saying again?
I don't know. You said this is a game. You said that Food Chain Magnate is a game, and you were gonna rant about how cool it is.
Where's the technical difficulties button? For the first time ever, I need to push the technical difficulties button. Oh my goodness. Anyway, splatter. So splatter games, they're highly, they're very deep and crunchy games, but the teaching of them tends to be fairly easy. A lot of them are just a few pages. This game, Food Chain Magnate, is just a few pages. But the depth of the game, it is like Mariana Trench deep in terms of how deep the slaughter games are. But you're basically starting up a company. You're just got one little restaurant, a few little employees. You're eventually going to get more restaurants, more employees. You're hiring vice presidents and advertising guys and doing advertising. You got little airplanes flying across the board, advertising. You're doing billboards. There's a whole kind of a rule set on how people decide what to buy. So basically, proximity to where you are versus your price decides who sells and doesn't. So it's very cutthroat because if I undercut someone, they might not sell any goods. And they can spoil. There's spoilers in this game. So you make 20 pizzas and you sell 5. You don't have anywhere to store those 15 pizzas. They're going to spoil. So a lot going on. There's superpowers you can opt into each round, and they're kind of an achievement system. So the first one to make a pizza gets to get a freezer or something. So everyone that's the only time it's going to be available. So if you see someone going for a certain achievement, you have to go, okay, do I want to piggyback and do what they're doing to get that achievement to be able to store my goods? Or am I going to do something different and cut them off from being able to do that? And it's really cutthroat in that thing. There's a lot of follow the leader, but if you branch off, you really could get a power that someone else might not get. So it's very deep, very mean, very crunchy. It's not for everyone, but I think it's so rewarding because at the end of the game, you have all these restaurants, you're producing all these goods, you have this giant friggin' corporation of 300 employees, not quite, but you have like 20 employees and advertisements and billboards and all sorts of fun stuff going on. But it's me.
Yeah, I was going to say the only beef I really have with this game, haha, pun intended, is that
beef. There's no beef. Oh, yeah, there's burgers.
Yeah, burgers. Starting the game can hose you up. Yeah. You could inadvertently lose the game before you even start your first turn.
Part of setup.
Part of setup, if you put yourself in an odd position, like you think the roads are going a certain way and they're not or something, and your proximity to restaurants is not where you think they are, you could just have cut yourself out from...
But you know what they say? You know what they say?
What do they say?
If you can't lose the game on the first turn, why have the first turn?
What? And who is this they that say that? Oh, that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Anyway, it's one of my favorite splatters. It's not my
Don't play
favorite.
This when you're tired.
It's one of my favorite splatters. I enjoy several of them. This is
my favorite spoiler.
Is it?
Yeah. It's my favorite splatter.
Is it?
Yep.
Is it the only one you like?
No.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting. All right, let's move on. Get that shirt box out of here. Let's move on to my last one. Last one this time. Okay. Number 51. It was 55 last time.
Ooh.
So it's hanging. It went up a little bit, but it's hanging in the same district because we love this game. Every time we play this, we're like, wow, this is a good game. Rebecca, last time we played, even rocked the whole colony thing or whatever settlement thing in this game.
Oh, I know. You make fun of me for not getting that every time.
Clans of Caledonia.
I finally understand how to play this game.
No, it's just no, I
do.
We always get so this game. I'll explain this. I'll do a little story time at the end because it has to do with in-game scoring. But in this game, you're going out, you're building settlements, you're making different resources, you're making cheese, and you're raising cows and all sorts of stuff. You mix those together and you make all different specialty goods. It's one of those games where as you build more of a certain kind of things on the board, it makes those actions more powerful. You put more workers out, more miners out, you get more money, you get more goods. Bread. Everyone has a clan, and the clan has a superpower that's kind of almost game-breaking in how it's like super powerful compared. Everyone has an amazing power. It's a good one. It's almost area control-esque, but a good chunk, not a good chunk, but some of your scoring comes from building settlements, and you want to have settlements that are different areas, and they have to be in a certain range of each other. Right. And Rebecca is like, she did it. It was amazing. It was. Normally she's like I don't care about that stuff. Whatever happens, happens. And she ends up with one big settlement.
It does, and I never get any victory points because I'm like, I don't know.
But last time she did really
for whatever reason.
She like, I got this. And rocked it.
I know. It was one of my rocket scientist days. I'm either a rocket scientist or like a toddler. I don't know. Board gaming messes with my brain, I guess.
But it also has an economy. It has a lot of games are using this now. This one as well, where as a good sold, the as more of a good sold, the price goes down. As more goods are bought, price goes up. The supply and demand stuff.
Right.
It also has several goods you're producing, fulfilling contracts. It gives you, I guess, rights. It's almost like not really stocks, but you have 10 of the cotton or whatever.
Yeah.
The value of those goods change as time goes by. So as one gets more valuable, you may want to change and get that. But as more and more of that good is produced, the value goes down. So it's a hit and miss, right?
Yeah.
So it's got a whole economy, like supply and demand almost on the goods. Contract fulfillment. It's building out a map. You're putting you're building resources. All sorts of fun stuff going on.
This is one of those too that is a really small box that packs a really
too small.
solid. Yeah, like it's really tough to fit everything in. But no, I mean this is a big game for what this box
what's funny is
looks like.
a lot of games could fit in this box.
It's true. It's just the packaging thing,
Yes.
right? But I find it amusing that
This is like the pandemic size box ish.
is it?
Yeah.
This is pandemic size? Are you sure?
Isn't it?
I don't think so. I thought pandemic was like, what do they call that? A coffin size or whatever?
Yeah, Coffin's a big giant TI box.
Oh. Well, either way, this is like, anymore, this is like a tiny box to me. And it is such a big, deep game for what you're thinking you're getting into here. And I just love it. I love all the different resource juggling. Because you can go and choose, okay, what do I really want to focus on? Do I want to do more cows and cheese and this and that, or the what is it, whiskey, I think it is, and all the different things and juggling and balancing that, because you don't want really anybody to get super ahead of you on stuff, because then they can start controlling that little economy he's talking about, and it's a lot of fun once you figure out the end game point
I wouldn't bring it up, but it seems like every time you're like, I'm not gonna worry about that.
I gave up because for whatever reason it confused me, because the way
you have a range.
You move over water, I think is what it is, because you have this range, but it's different depending on your abilities to.
You basically increase your range. Before it's like one, and then but when you have a range of 3, you can like go up a river and a land, and your settlements have to be within range of each other, but they have to be separate as well. They can't be touching.
Yeah,
but they can be range of your range.
And it's just, I don't know why.
Anyway,
I had like some mental block, but I love this game. It's a good one.
It is a good one. 51. It was 55 last time. Went up a little bit, just a little bit.
It says 30 minutes per player too, which is really nice.
Yeah, this game's over before you even realize it. Like, nope, it's over.
It is, because it's one
over.
of those really deep games. It feels like it's going to be a 2-hour game because you're mentally just doing so many gymnastics, right?
It's over.
It's good times. Good times.
That's it. That was let's get it right this time. The best of the worst. Best of the worst. Next time we have the worst of the best.
Let's go.
My 50 to 41. Let's do a sneak peek.
Ooh, are you prepared for your
I'm prepared. I actually did all my homework this time of all of them. Of all of them.
Okay.
All right, so the next list, next 10, we've got one new game. One game that is new.
Just one new game, huh?
One new game. Just like this time, right? One new game. Yep. We have 5 games that went down, 4 games that went up. So, mixed bag. And one of the 4 games I do not own is next time. Mysterious. 4 games on my top 100 I do not own.
I have to think about that. I have to think about what that might be.
While you're thinking about that. Bye!